Welcome back to my channel, Life in the Jazz Lane. So happy to have you back. Today we're going to slow things down just a little bit, and we are going to touch on a topic. Why are they making women work out while they're pregnant? Okay, no, all jokes aside, our topic today is going to be working out while pregnant. And basically what works for me and what has worked for me. And I'm going to share with all my beautiful people. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get into this beautiful, beautiful segment of Life in the Jazz Lane. Okay, so we'll get right into it. Working out while pregnant. This is a very sensitive topic for me, mainly because I've worked out all my life. We know that I ran track consistently through high school and through college and post-collegiately as a professional. And it was a huge part of my life where I trained for multiple hours out of the day. When I got pregnant with my daughter, I genuinely assumed that that was something that I was going to do throughout my entire pregnancy. And my body did not allow me to do that. The first trimester, if anybody has been pregnant out there with me, knows, is a tragedy. It is so hard. It is so taxing. You're exhausted. You can't eat. There's just so many factors that come into the first trimester that kind of took me out of the game. And it was like a blessing in disguise. So with my daughter, when I was pregnant, my first pregnancy, I thought that I was going to work out, but I didn't work out. Big dilemma, I believe, is do you work out while pregnant? Or do you not work out while pregnant? With this pregnancy, I was feeling the same way, not necessarily like I didn't need to work out, but I more so needed to focus on just movement. The last trimester of my pregnancy with my daughter, we walked every single day. Well, we live in Seattle now, and guess what? There's hills everywhere. So a 5-minute walk is like an inclined walk, and it is intense, especially being pregnant. It is not just a normal brisk, let me run to the store. Even though here everything is walking distance for us, it's not always the most ideal thing that I want to do, especially while I'm pregnant. So I take the dogs for a walk, obviously to use the bathroom, and I might, go across the street and, grab a bite to eat. But outside of that, like just walking around this area, it's not as ideal as it was when we lived in, in New Jersey. It was really nice. It was open. It was airy, and that was just our thing, and I really enjoyed it. Well, here it rains a lot in Seattle. It's a lot of hills. And so I decided that I would take a more movement approach, and I would kind of just focus on doing things in a more stationary stance, just because I'm allowed to channel all my energy into one space. And I plan on having a home birth. I plan on having, my family, my husband, my daughter here with me. So I really want to make sure that I keep all of this good positive energy flowing in one space. So I decided that I would focus on yoga, and I ordered a Peloton bike, and I will be riding my Peloton, which I do twice a week. My rides are very short and low impact, and my yoga movements as well are not longer than 30 minutes. And honestly, through this pregnancy, it's been the best for me. And my thought process lies a lot different than everyone else's, and maybe relates to some, I would hope. But for me, our bodies are going through so much right now. Our organs are moving, our skin is stretching. So many things are happening to us physically that I can't wrap my mind around the concept of doing something extra to my body. In this time, I feel like our bodies are supposed to relax. We're supposed to engage with ourselves as one, and we're supposed to let our our things within ourselves move on their own physical pace. I don't think I've come into a space where I feel like it's important to just bring things down. I've always had to pump iron. I've always had to lift weights. I've always had to run. I've always had to do something that was strenuous, that required my body to recover from it. I'm going to have to recover from pushing a baby out of my vagina. So I am not thinking about lifting any weights right now. I am thinking about expanding and opening so that I can release, and that is it. Now, I'm not going to say that working out is not a release, because working out is a release. It absolutely is. So if you're working out mentally because it stimulates you and it puts you in a good mood and you feel good, that's a completely different process. It's always best, one, to stay in your lane and do what's good for you, boo-boo. But also to really think of like the concept and what's happening to your body. Like I said earlier, our bodies are changing. We are physically creating lungs, brains, feet, fingers, all of those things, and going to bring that into life. And so I just think that if you can save most, if not all, of your energy and pour into that one specific thing, then that is absolutely something that you should do. On top of my thought process there, I went and I got a doula. And if anyone doesn't know what a doula is basically an assistant to your birthing process. They are there to help you mentally, physically, emotionally get through a birthing process that you want to have. So I would, one, highly recommend that you got a doula if you could afford one, or if you could find one that you're comfortable with. And two, I would definitely recommend, if you are pregnant, to do a little bit of research about having one, because my doula is amazing. I love her. She made me these beautiful, my beads, these beautiful waist beads. I can show them more, but she made me these waist beads, and she does a lot of very, sweet things for me. She'll cook for me. She'll do foot soaks for me. We talk, and we do a lot of yoga movements. And I find these yoga movements to be the best for me when I'm starting my day or I'm going to sleep. Only because when you first wake up, everything has just been dormant. You haven't been moving around. You haven't been doing a lot. But get up, and the first thing that you do is just take a few, maybe 10 deep breaths through each movement that you have. It makes a world of a difference, especially with your joints, especially with your blood flow. If I do it at night, it's just to do the exact opposite, to breathe out and release everything that's there, and to prepare my body to relax and go dormant for the rest of the night. And I ultimately would sleep better. So yoga has been my big go-to. I will say that I did do yoga with my daughter in my first pregnancy, and I may have only did it the second trimester, when I was a little bit more feeling everything. But with my daughter, the prenatal yoga was very relaxing. It was very comforting, and it also may have really been a big factor in my labor process, when it came to breathing, when it came to my ligaments being all nice and stretched out and prepared to obviously bring a child into this world. So yoga, my go-to, that is first and foremost. So yeah, basically what works for me might not work for everyone else. I just want to give a very clear insight of alternatives. That's my whole goal, to help women find what fits them, or even just some alternatives to the things that they've known to be true or that have been proven to be true. I know that what works for some doesn't work for others, but what I do know is I have tried, I have been true to everything that I've done, so I'm able to give you an honest depiction of everything that I've done. Like I said, I've worked out all of my life. When it was coming down to working out while pregnant, it was not my thing. It is not my thing. I'm just being honest. But that doesn't mean that I can't incorporate some movement, some breathing, a little bit of low impact activity just to combat some of the things that obviously science has said to be honest. We are supposed to work out. We're supposed to have good blood flow and all that good stuff. Yes, obviously that's true. But we're not always going to be wanting to work out. We're not always going to want to, go to the gym. We're not always going to want to lift weights, especially during a pandemic. Like, it's just so many things to stay in a little bit slower lane when it comes to working out while pregnant. And I hope that I was able to give you a little bit of insight so that you can decide what would work best for you, or maybe even you can share this video with a friend, like, subscribe, tell everyone about it, and perhaps I can help somebody else who is in a dilemma on whether or not they should work out while they're pregnant, because such is life. And if you have any ideas or would like to share anything with me, maybe I missed something, just drop those ideas, drop those thoughts in the comments, share them with me, share the video, like, subscribe to my beautiful page, Life in the Jazz Lane.